but the Strengths API seems to send the data and then get a response. I think we're not interacting with the database to get the data first. So let's see some other endpoint, which is this monthly report. The next endpoint in this list is monthly report. So this should go to database to get the data stored in the database. Let's see now if we are having an interaction to database, or we are returning some dummy or mock data. So here we have insights, and here we need to search for monthly. And here if you see, we are returning the mock data. So this, so we knew that right now we're having the dummy data. Now the next step is we need to replace all of this code to just interact with the database, basically get this uncommented to get the details from all of these entries from the database. But right now we're not having the current user ID, so maybe it can use the mock one and then get us the entries from the database. Let me see. Calculate monthly summary. We have only one instance where this is used. So the APIs are returning dummy data. We want to get set, like we want have DB interactions for the data in all of the APIs rather than having mock data. So here it is going to added two tasks. First for implementing database interactions for transactions endpoint, and then for insights endpoint. But I think we have more endpoints. We have insights files as well, and auth, and we also had to have user, but right now I don't see it. So first let's complete the ones that we already have. Okay, now let's approve. Let's approve. It's very crucial for Root to analyze first the model structure so that it can precisely put in the code um, for all of these models or all of these, tables. So the transaction.py, we have models here. This is transaction.py, and here we have ID, amount, description. Let's match if it is uh, it's following our database table. So here, let's go to database and let's see. We had database connection already made, right? So we have the file inside session, and here we have transaction. It has ID, amount, description, category, date, type, and user ID, file ID. And then we also have created ad and updated ad, which I don't see in this, but it's in implementing the base. I think the base should have these so yeah, so base has created ad and updated ad, so we should be good here. Let's go back here. Approve. Now let's check the database connection setup. So it's going to check the database connection. Like to do that. Let's share the settings file to see database URL. Okay. Let it check if the DB has some data. Okay, so now it's going to read this schema file to understand the schema which we created, the Root created when we were setting up these migration scripts and Alembic. And now it's going to read the seed data. So if you remember, we actually inserted some data in the database. It's the data, kind of the sample data, so that we can get the APIs working with the already inserted data. Now it has started updating the code to directly query database. So let's just see. Right now it's updating for transaction. Let's save it. Now this is for create transaction. Read transaction done. Create is done. Now the get by ID, transaction ID. So right now it is writing all the code in this file, whereas we should have had a separate file for database interaction. So at this point we can ask it to separate the implementations. We can guide root to add the database interaction in a different file, in a repo file, and then we can have that function getting called from the other layers. Now this is for updating the transaction. So I am not changing anything, like I'm not going to ask it to do it, but when you're writing the code for your real application, then we should maintain the modularity in our application. So these functions, so rather than utilizing function which is having the database interaction, we are directly now calling db.query here. So for transaction, all the transaction endpoints, this is done. Now it is picking up the insights part. So let's approve it. It has uncommented this calculate monthly summary, but I'm not sure if this exists anywhere in the project. let me first see if let's ask it, does so again I think it's just going to implement endpoint functions rather than creating separate helper function. Let's start by updating the imports and then implementing the trend. So first it has like added the required imports, and now I think it's going to remove that function call to direct implementation. Income by month, it has applied all the necessary like filter, group by and everything. Save this. There is no active. This is the user. So now this is done for insights and transactions done, insights done. We started with trends. Now files. Are we done with trends? So now let's see if this works.